Good morning, peoples. Love and hugs. Each and every one out there, beaming and transmitting and receiving from Channel 4. Now, I'll touch base on what's happening over in Iran. Now, this is just my general comment and opinion, and use my intuition and my instincts, as I can only report on what you see through information you receive through the Idiot Box or through Substack and other more, I say truthfully, information. All the best to Crown Reza, Pahlavi, or Pahlavi. All the best. Godspeed for you brother. Hopefully you'll get your crown back and be the go in transitional stage to restore democracy back to the people. As I said, nothing wrong with the system. It's the tyrants and totalitarian people or evil demons, demonic demons, that are running the show through their puppets. And anyway, we'll leave that note on, and condolences to the Iranian people that have lost loved ones through this transitional stage. I do believe, but I'm not 100 or 1,000% sure, over 500 people now have been shot in those protests. It's a revolution. It's a revolution. And power to the people over there. Okay, God bless. Now, moving right along now, we go to our little regimes over in Mr. Starmer and Mr. Albanese. Now, the only way they know how to deal with the populace is through oppression and suppression, and trying to shut us up and trying to take away social media where we get to voice our concerns. Well, big backlash now. That's backfired on them guys, both of them. And you'll see big transitional stages now in our Western democracy, well, so-called, because they're just idiots and they're puppets for their controllers. But the only way they can deal, they don't want to listen to their populists, and that's going to backfire in a big way, because all they want to do is shut us up. Because they're being controlled by the controllers. They're just puppets. Puppets. They're getting their strings pulled and they just answer to their controllers. And they should be answering to us, the populace, the people. Now, what I wanted to, the main thing was today to discuss with you guys was our university since 2015. And I know way before this, because there was the official papers, like to do your degrees on and so forth, they were stolen. They were signed papers, but they didn't have any, like your master, arts or anything on it. You could have put that in yourself, but it was signed by university professionals. They were already signed off. And this is like in the 1990s, I read this in the Telegraph, or the early 2000s. But this has come to light again. Now, I knew it'd come to light because when I read it, I thought, holy mackerel, this is going to be good. People can just put anything they want there and get in executive positions within our government or wherever. And forgery. I've told you about forgery. It was happening since day one. And if you don't nip this in the bud, it will just keep going on and on and on and on until you control that forgery. And you got to pull up all this forgery, misinformation, disinformation from these sinister demons. That's what they are. And they've summoned demons too. I said that the other day. I touched base about these people summoning demonic demons into on our plane. and then they lose control of those demons, yeah, sure, they pay a hell of a price. But it's also the people in general paying that price too, until we nip it in the bud. And as I said, the jig is up on them guys. The jig is up on the dark side. And as I said, we're a vessel, so on that ship, get back onto that ship. Yeah, it's okay, but we're going through treacherous waters. It's treacherous waters. And yeah, we might go over and so forth, but we're self-righting. Because as I said, we're self-righteous too, aren't we? So the ship, yeah, we might have a few rolls, but it'll always right itself. And this is what's happening now on planet Earth as Earthlings. And if the Galactic Federation is around us, well, something drastically has gone wrong, hasn't it? Okie dokie. So go on back to the main point that I was talking to today. Was widespread. It's widespread forgery operations. Now, this got sent to me today from another whistleblower, Anonymous, Mr. Anonymous Whistleblower. So thank you. Came in on the 13th of January today at 10:36 a.m. So I'm reporting to you guys, an hour, 2 hours later. So widespread forgery operations, mid-2000s to 2015. Investigations have highlighted long-standing operations selling high-quality forged degrees from major New South Wales institutions. And this is still happening today. It's still happening. It's actually worse than what it was back then. Forgers claim the source, and it's probably why it's all going wrong, because you've got people in there on forged documents and they haven't got the nous to solve problems. And this is exactly what's happening. Very, very dark now too. Forgers claim to source original quality parchment from the same providers used by universities such as UNSW, the University of Sydney, Macquarie University, and the University of Wollongong. Prices for these documents ranged from $3,500 to $6,500, with some services even claiming to insert fake details in the official databases. So it was all on the official databases. So $6,500, boom. And then you could get a position in the executive circles, government and private sectors. The Great Aussie Degree Scam. Forgers raking in thousands selling bogus qualifications. A news.com.au investigation has uncovered a huge forgery scam at the heart of Australia's education system, ripping off our universities. Okay, that was reported with Chung Franks, and that was in March 27th, 2015, 11:50 a.m. Now, that was the source that he done, and he's but this has come into my hands from an anonymous whistleblower. As I said, the whistleblowers are coming forward thick and fast now. The jig is up. Now, Australia's name and history, Australia's official name today. Sorry, I apologise. Okay, so that's the university scams. We know all about those university scams now and forgery. And as I say, when those immigrants come here, the government gives those immigrants jobs in government departments. And it is very much human nature that each culture will look after its own. That's why when you go overseas, you'll see Australians living in the same suburbs and streets over there. Okay, that's human nature to stick with your same cultures. And that's why it's happening over here too. You see it happening over here. And they don't have to name the areas. You already know the areas. Anyway, the main reason I was here, yes, we touched base on Iran, touched base now with all the forgery and shit happening within our universities. which I knew for a while. Last 30 years I knew that was happening. And now, my main story today, which I didn't learn from the education system, is about Australia. Its original name and the original people that were here. And my love and hugs goes out to all the Indigenous races all throughout the world, because they kept their spirituality and their beliefs intact, and it wasn't white man in general. It was the dark side that came in and infiltrated you guys too. Now, I'm going to touch base with Australia. As I said, we're a young nation, 200 years old, and if you go throughout the world, even 2,000 years old, it's, 20 generations? We're all very, very young, and everything is still stabilising and transitional and transformation. And that's why it's happening now in Australia with the transitional and transformation. Anyway, so Australia's official name today, the Commonwealth of Australia, that's all misinformation too and falsehood. Because the Crown over there got there through forgery. And they're imposters and pretenders. So you can see how it's all folding. It's all fallen like a pack of dominoes, because it's all been built up in darkness and falsehood and misinformation, and by infiltrators and pretenders from darkness. It wasn't even formalised. This is all just a big crock of darkness. Upon the federation of its 6 colonies on January the 1st, 1901, as I said, you cannot have a constitution and all this man-made. It's all man-made. Not through God. This is all man-made. That's why it's going so horribly wrong. And Mr. Starmer, Miss Albanese, that's why they want to control you by force and suppress you. And if it keeps going and you keep protesting, they'll probably start shooting us. And I'll tell you what, that'll be their biggest mistake. You might use rubber bullets, which is a big mistake, and COVID-19, but this will be your hugest mistake. You want to start shooting us. Because I'll personally come down then. How dare you trying to suppress the Australian people anyway? As I said, I'm passionate. Passionate on what I do for the people. Before this, the land was known by various names depending on the era and the people who inhabited it. Now, the indigenous names for tens of thousands of years before European arrival, the continent did not have a single overarching name. Instead, hundreds of distinct indigenous language groups had their own names for specific regions. Bike, which is Bravo, India, Kilo, was used in the Warrawong language of the Melbourne region. Bana was used in the Murchison region of Western Australia. Correct was used in the Wemba language of Victoria. Yuthurua was used in parts of mid-western region of Australia. And the AIATSIS map of Indigenous Australia provides a visual record of these diverse nation and language groups. Love and hugs. Now, with the early European and colonial names, European explorers and cartographers used several names for the continent before Australia was officially adopted. Terra Australis, Incognita, is a Latin term for unknown southern land, used to describe a mythical continent. New Holland was named by Dutch navigators in the 17th century. after charting the coast. New South Wales was named by Captain James Cook in 1770 when claiming the eastern half for Great Britain. Now, he couldn't claim because he had no nobility, no blue blood. You can't claim something that isn't yours. That's what I mean. You've been brainwashed and manipulated. And it's just, I don't know. I just don't know how they got away with it. I really don't. Well, they have up until this point in time, because the Wakies are. Van Diemen's Land was the original name for Tasmania, given by Abel Tasman in 1642. And wasn't Captain Cook, wasn't he speared by the indigenous Tahitians? They put an end to his existence on planet Earth. Matthew Flinders suggested Australia, meaning land of the south, after circumnavigating the continent in 1803. The name was officially recommended by Governor Lachlan Macquarie in 1817. 1817, that's what I mean. What, 203, 4 years ago? It's bugger all. And adopted by the British Admiralty in 1824. The 6 colonies united to form the Commonwealth of Australia on January the 1st, 1901. For further historical records, the National Library of Australia and the National Archives of Australia maintain detailed reports on the nation's naming history. Australia had various names throughout history, from mythological concepts to its current federal name. And then Terra's Australia, Incognita, was used from the 15th century, meaning unknown southern land. Australia de Espiritu Santo was named by Pedro Fernandez de Correos in 1606. New Holland was named following Dutch exploration from 1644 to the 1800s. And New Wales, New South Wales, named by James Cook in 1770, is still in use. Van Diemen's Land was named by Abel Tasman for 1642 to 1856 and was renamed Tasmania in 1856. The Swan River colony was known as such from 1829 to 1832 before becoming Western Australia. Australia was popularised in 1884 by Matthew Flinders and was officially recommended in 1817. The Commonwealth of Australia became the official title in 1901 following Federation. Now, before European arrival, there was no single name for the continent. First Nations people, our lovely Indigenous or Aboriginals peoples, used distinct names for specific regions based on their 250 plus languages. Common terms include country or names for traditional lands like Benjigal land or Nakawakal country. And how we've done it today with Australians through the convicts up until this point and presence of matter, Oz and Australia are informal and shortened names. The land down under is a nickname referencing its geologic or geographic location. The Lucky Country is a term popularised by author Donald Horne. Blows his horn, doesn't he? Donald Horne in 1964, the year I was born. And why I didn't learn that and be educated with all that at school is beyond me. And I'd put in, as our national anthem, God Bless Australia. All right, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Take care. Take it all in. I hope I have clarity there for this transmission and frequency and vibrations going out. And as I say, let it all flow in and go with the flow. Bye for now. God bless everybody on planet Earth and beyond. And take care. Stay safe.